Recently, Arrancar has gotten a ton of new weapons, and there has honestly been so much new content added to the game in general. I decided to rank every single Arrancar weapon in the entire game because I know it can be confusing to pick which one you guys actually want to use. If you enjoy it, make sure to like and subscribe. Let's get right into the video. Alright, we're gonna start this off with the Arrancar Yamato weapon. In my opinion, this is honestly the definition of mid. It's a solid weapon. The slash is decent, but it isn't anything special. I don't think you can also combo extend off the slash unless you get a guard break off of it. The slash has decent range. It's super fast. Ragdoll is too far away for you to actually start consistent combos with it. And another very big issue the slash has is the fact that it also doesn't do that much damage. So for that reason, we're gonna rank this in the B tier. Next thing we got is the Arrancar legendary weapon, whose name I cannot remember. But this is, in my opinion, this is one of the most underrated weapons in the entire game. Most people can't parry the crit that well. The second part of the crit is true if you land the first part, and a lot of medic players used to run this before another weapon came out that we're going to go over later. However, I'm going to just drop this into the B tier because unless you're like a medic player who's sitting in the zone, like the blue force field shit, you're never going to be hitting this. Rimjaw Claws is a decent pick. I'm going to put this into A tier. It's a solid weapon. It's always going to be good. However, the reason why I'm not putting this into S tier is because there's better Hakuda alternatives now, so I feel like it's just not as consistent in the meta as it used to be. So yeah, if this was like a week ago, this would be easily an S tier. Zero Crusher, I'm gonna put this into B tier. When this dropped, I feel like it was incredibly busted, but right now it's kind of pretty mid. Off the sneaks that I saw, I honestly thought this was gonna be like an easy S tier. However, they did make this pretty balanced. It's not anything crazy in my opinion, so just B tier. Pretty basic weapon, but or it's not a basic weapon. It's like a very unique weapon that was done perfectly well. Like it's something that you use for fun, and it's not something that most people are gonna be really obnoxious with. Actually, I take that back. I just realized it's Hakuda Arrancar Keto. That is the most brain dead build in the entire game, but the weapon isn't that brain dead. The build is Arbel's Dagger, easy A tier. This is a solid pick. I believe this honestly, when the first new crit came out, this would be an easy S tier. However, you know, recently it had, or not even recently, like I think a week or later, it received slight nerf. Pretty decent. If you land both parts of the crit, I believe it guard breaks. However, the best part about this weapon is the fact that you can consistently always land the crit. The problem though is actually combo extending after. I think if you land the second part of the crit, you can get a free Sonata float, but even that's not confirmed. If that is true, I could honestly see this being an S tier. However, I feel like generally speaking, it's just a very good pick for A tier. Like it fits here perfectly well. It's not anything crazy. Like you shouldn't complain about this. Never mind. All right, Serpentine Breaker. This is a difficult one to rank. Most people I asked, most of the top 50s I asked, did rank this into S or A tier. One person ranked the C tier. So it's like, honestly, I want to put this at the very top of A tier. I could easily see this being an S tier because it's pretty busted, and this is the replacement for this weapon. Every single medic player is going to be on this. The crit has massive range, so if you do use this in like the blue zone medic move, you're almost guaranteed to land it. So on specifically medic, this is easily an S tier. On other builds, it's A tier or low S tier. I'm gonna just put this at the very top of A tier. I don't think anything else in A tier is better than this. However, there is some stuff that is a bit more viable. I may move this up to S tier, honestly. I don't know. I'll keep it in A for now. Blood Edge. This is a pretty mid weapon. I'm not gonna lie. This goes into the B tier as well. It's nothing crazy. The crits are decent. I feel like they have a lot of end lag on them. And another big issue is it's just, yeah, straight up. Like the main issue I have with this is the crits are super slow. The M1s are super slow, and they have a lot of end lag. They have decent range. And a lot of the time, if you're playing somebody who doesn't run away a lot in the M1 trade, so like for example maybe Kendo players, you might be able to get some decent guard breaks with this. However, generally speaking, it's nothing special. It does have 2 crits, and it's the first weapon with 2 crits, which is like a fun fact. But yeah, I'm gonna put this into C tier. Even as a PvE weapon, what's it called, Bargon's Axe is just pretty mid. Most people can also, I believe, dash out of this crit. I think for a certain point this was actually like B or A tier, like a very long time ago, before half of these weapons were even in the game. However, right now there's just so much better options. There's literally no reason to even touch this. I could put this in the D tier, but I don't think it's complete garbage. I just don't think it's anything that anybody should use. This is like the bottom of C tier. This goes straight into the D tier. The crit is atrocious. I saw the clip of it. I don't even know how you're supposed to hit somebody with this weapon. I don't know how you're supposed to combo with this weapon. I could be wrong. Like maybe there's some secret tech that I don't know about, but this, in my opinion, is just a D tier. Completely garbage. Maybe you could put this, maybe you could argue for this being in C tier, but yeah, either way, I would just not pick this up at all. This weapon, some people say this is like Nelio, but worst. So I'm gonna put this in like the A tier. It's decent. I don't think it has crazy range on its slashes, and when you do use it close range, the problem is that you can't really combo extend, and the end lag is too much on the startup and the end of the thing, or like the wind up is super long and the end lag are super long. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's very difficult to chain quick combos with this. Some people have said that this is busted. However, I feel like it might just depend on how you play it. In my opinion, I'm just gonna drop this into the A tier. It's not better than the claws, but the bottom of A tier so far, especially when I used it. This I believe it is broken right now. However, this could be top of A tier or S tier. It's a very difficult thing to rank. I'm pretty sure this got nerfed. If it didn't get nerfed, easy S tier. Like when this dropped, I got hit with a true one-shot combo with this and pre-nerf Serpent. Like it was busted. However, I'm 99% sure this did get nerfed because I'm not seeing it as much anymore. So I'm gonna put this into A tier. Somebody comment below if this got nerfed, because if it didn't, this easily S tier. I could honestly put this in S tier right now. I'm kind of debating it. Honestly, for now, I'm gonna leave this into S tier. It's really busted. I'm not gonna lie. Nobody's pairing this shit. Actually, yeah, even after the nerfs, I can't see most people pairing this. It could also be due to the fact that it's like a new Hakuto weapon, and like Hakuto is very difficult to parry, so we might need some time to get adjusted to it. But yeah, S tier. This, I might have some bias against this, but this is literally a dash crit, super fast, basically unparryable unless you're a super sweat, and it cripples your opponent. This has to be A tier. Like I cannot see this not being A tier, bro. Maybe below Haribel. The range does kind of suck. However, if you're on like Kendo, maybe speed, you can get a pretty good combos off this. Like Spectre Step into this crit is honestly really busted. The only downside is you could get punished off the Spectre Step, but like yeah, really nice crit. Whenever you do hit it, super rewarding, and for PvE, this is an incredibly good weapon. Like literally no downsides aside from the fact that the crit does have range that's like the range is a bit iffy and the hitboxes are kind of weird because you do go like super down on the ground. However, it's consistent enough to stay in A tier basically. But yeah, it's not like there's a lot of new weapons that could overtake this. However, for now, good weapon. Soul Exile, this is a difficult one to rank. So a lot of people think this is completely garbage. However, the crit is actually pretty good. A lot of top 50s did tell me this is actually a good weapon. The only thing holding it back is the fact that the weapon has horrible M1. So for lower tiers of PvP, I don't think Hakuto players really be M1ing that much. So I could honestly put this into A tier if you're a lower tier player. However, once you get to the higher levels, this has to go into the B tier just due to the fact that the M1s kind of suck. The crit is decent. However, there's literally no reason to pick this up when you have this and you have this. So yeah, unless you want to cosplay Sanji. Next thing we got is the Arrancar Muramasa weapon. I'm not gonna lie, this could be A tier. I want to just drop this into B tier. In my opinion, I think you can use this with Mortal Ties, so I could put this into A tier. However, in my opinion, generally speaking, most people are just gonna be able to easily dash out of this, so it's not that good. However, at the same time, when you do hit this, it's somewhat rewarding. It does do like a good bit of damage. I've been hit by this. I feel like the damage isn't even that crazy. I don't know. I don't want to piss somebody off, but straight up, I want to put this into B tier. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but this literally just feels trash. Maybe with Mortal Ties, it's good, but even without that, like just dash out of it, bro. Straight up, like nobody's getting hit by this. Maybe if you're like one tap and your dashes are slowed, but if you're one tap, you're probably gonna lose either way. So B tier. All right, S tier. This is the most slept upon weapon in the entire game, bro. Even I've used this. This is really fucking busted. I'm not gonna lie. Like the crit looks like it's nothing, but trust me, just try this weapon. It's incredibly busted. It does have somewhat of a skill ceiling, like, and by skill ceiling, I mean you can't just be a new player, pick this up and be incredibly busted. But if you know what you're doing and you've been playing for a good bit of time, pick this weapon up and trust me, it's gonna be busted. Like I can't even explain it because the crit looks stupid and I look stupid for putting this in S tier, but every single top 50 I asked ranked this in S tier. Even when I used it, this weapon is busted. The only thing that I do have to say, which is weird, is getting adjusted to the M1s, but once you do get adjusted to them, it's gonna be really nice. Like Piety, the mythical weapon. For a mythical weapon, honestly, it is pretty mid. I'm not gonna lie. Like top of C tier. I feel like the close range crit is decent. The range on it is meh. The M1 suck, and the long range crit, most people just hold F. If you're on keto, this could be pretty nice, low-key. I feel like there could be some true combos, but I'm gonna just put this into C tier. I don't see anybody using it, and it's very good reason. It could go into the bottom of B tier, low-key. Hard choice. Honestly, either way, I don't think anybody should be running this, so I'll just drop this into C tier. Calibre. All right. So this is gonna be a controversial one because I wanted to put this into C tier, but my boy Ray told me that this actually got buffed recently, and so it has a few good uses. One, the aerial crit, you can use that to get out of Hakuto combos, and it's really nice. He just said it's really difficult to parry now. He could have just been bugging because of the server. However, due to that and the fact you can also use this to completely negate Hakuto users, I can't put this at the very bottom of C tier, so I'm gonna probably just put this into B tier. If you struggle against Hakuto users, and I mean you can pick this up, but even then I feel like there's just better options. So it's a keto weapon. I can't put this anything below B tier. However, I will say compared to the other abject weapons, this is pretty, compared to the Quincy one at least. So I'm gonna drop this into A tier. Arrancar keto is brain dead, and this does not take away from that. Just the weapon by itself is not that brain dead in my opinion, but Arrancar keto, that shit needs to be gutted to the ground. I'll probably drop this into like, I honestly think these three are better. This is probably better too, straight up, and this is probably worse. I'm not gonna lie. The medic weapon, this has to be dropped like dead middle of A tier. Medic weapons always good. Like literally just, yeah, they're always the same thing. Like as a support weapon, if you're a support player, always pick these up. They always stay in the meta. And yeah, not even much to say about this, to be completely honest with you. Just pick this up if you're a support player. If you're not, get something else. The fans, all right, honestly, these have a really high potential. I feel like I've never seen anybody parry them. I think the only thing holding it back is one, the M1s have like no range. Like I don't think fully touching your opponent with the fans is enough to actually hit them with the M1. Like it has more of the same range as a Hakata. If you could use this with Hakata, it would actually be brain dead, but you can't. So yeah, this has to go into like, most people said to put this into C tier. I'm gonna probably just drop this into B tier because nonetheless, I feel like the ragdoll aspect of the crit has some great combo potential. The only downside is it knocks them too far away for you to actually hit most moves on them, but there's definitely some moves you can land with this, like mainly keto moves though, low-key. But either way, decent weapon. I would definitely recommend picking this up. Verglass. All right, this is the difficult one because the biggest issue with this is the crit does little to no damage and most people dash away. However, if you're like me and you play on super low ping, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of carried by that shit, but if you play on super low ping, this is a really nice weapon. I have to put this into A tier. I'm gonna put it above this in my opinion, just because if you land the crit, most people do, they M1 and they completely waste it. However, if you land the crit, you can immediately get a free Sonata flow. If you're like below 100k elo or even like below 200k elo, I would definitely recommend grabbing this. Most people don't know what they're doing. The only time I wouldn't recommend picking this up is if you're like consistently averaging like over 100 ping. If you're over 100 ping, this is probably not for you. Ulquiorra's Katana, easy S tier, bro. This is such a nice weapon. I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, I have to drag this up to S tier too. I can't see this weapon being worse than Ulquiorra's Katana. But this is just super fast, guard break. Yeah, it's such a basic weapon, and despite that, it's still S tier. That's honestly insane to me. Like this weapon has been in the game for so long, and it's still S tier. Every single top 50 I asked to rank this S tier, and that's just because the crit is super fast. Most people don't know how to parry it. If you have like Sonata flow or Eviscerate or like any kendo build, you can pop this immediately after those moves, and a lot of the time you will get a guaranteed guard break. It's just really nice. Always, if you don't know what to use, just grab Ulquiorra's Katana. It's always reliable. Always nice. Final weapon we got is the Wonder Voice. Most people rank this straight in the B tier. It's pretty mid weapon, I'm not gonna lie. It's another one of those old reliables where you can always go to it, you can always rely on it. However, unlike Ulquiorra's Katana, it's not reliable to the point where like, I don't know, I need to formulate that sentence in a different way. Like, it's a nice weapon to pick up. It's always gonna be there for you. However, it's not gonna be as good as Ulquiorra's Katana. The wind up on the M1, or the wind up on the crit is super slow. The M1s, I feel like they're slightly slower than Ulquiorra's Katana. The damage is decent and most people are not gonna parry it. However, the problem is the crit has such a long wind up that most people can just completely dash out of it before you land it. I do know some top players are able to use this. I'm gonna be completely honest, I have no idea how some people consistently are able to land this crit. It's just so much better options out there. Also, Verglass, look, I want to rank this into A tier, low-key. Just I've seen some really good players use this. I'm not gonna lie, I might rank this above here because I have actually seen this maybe up here. I don't know, straight up, like it's just B tier. Honestly, I can't decide for this weapon. Like a lot of these are very interchangeable. Some of these you could push down, some of these you can push up. It kind of just depends on what you prefer, your playstyle, your element, right? Thank you for watching. If you guys have anything you disagree with or agree with, comment it below. And yeah.